Hi, everybody. Um, this is Skip Elsheimer of AV Geeks, and welcome to our lunchtime streaming show where I was at the doctor and had a unscheduled procedure that had to take place, and I could not. I was going to try to do something from my phone, but my phone was like, "No, you have to do." It's all this. Anyways, I'm back. This was not like an emergency thing. It was just like, oh, we have an opening, do it now. And this is all related to a bike accident that I had when I was 12, which I may or may not have talked about, but I'm not going to go into detail about. Just no, suffice it to say, I'm fine, but I couldn't just do my show. I would have, if I'd known that this was going to happen, I would have like pre-recorded something in the morning, blah blah blah. Anyways, Burrow out. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened, but just say scar tissue. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. So I was like, okay. Well, one of the things I appreciate folks that reached out to me and said like, hey, what's going on? Are you doing a show? Are you okay? I very much appreciate that. That felt really good. And so thank you for that. It's nice to know that people care. So anyways, I'm live, and we're going to probably do a shorter show today. Well, actually, we'll see. Anyway, so you remember yesterday I was trying to show you fire drill, but that print was messed up. It was really messed up. I don't know if you remember, the color in the middle was reddish, so it seemed like everybody was on fire. But there was also like other things with moisture, to where basically I would like run the film through after I spliced it, and it would tear again. And so something was happening where it was basically something got spilled on it. It was weird. So thankfully I have another copy. And so we're going to watch that. All right. So if all things go as planned, here is Fire Drill. Enjoy.
Use this leader to focus the picture and adjust the sound volume. The film will then be ready for correct projection.
When the fire alarm sounded, everyone was worried. Would everyone get out all right? Would everyone know what to do? What if an exit was blocked by fire or smoke? Well, there was lots of smoke, and the fire department came. This fire could have been far worse than it was. But everyone got out safely, and there's a very good reason why. Everyone at this school got out safely because they had been practicing fire drills. Since fires often burn very fast and don't give us time to stop and think, we have to plan ahead and know what to do. That's why this school started practicing fire drills the very first week of school. Here's how Miss Wilson explained it.
Now, class, when we hear the alarm, it's important we know automatically what to do. Now, first, this is the route we'll use to get out of the building. It's really very simple. We'll go out the hall to the left, through the corridor, and down the stairs. Now, you already know who our class leaders are, so let's practice what to do in case of fire. Is everyone ready?
Yes, Miss Wilson.
Let's pretend that this is the alarm.
I was chosen to be the leader, at the head of the line. If I'm absent, Karen will take my place. My job is to be the last one in line, to see that everyone gets out all right. I'm not supposed to stop, or close windows, or do anything else. If I'm absent, Mike will take my place. When Miss Wilson told me to, I opened the door and we all started out. We moved right along and we were careful to stay in line. When we were all out, I shut the door behind us.
Now, what if your regular exit is blocked by fire or smoke? That's why you must have another way out, an alternate route. This alternate route should also be planned and practiced ahead of time, because in a real fire emergency, you won't have time to decide what to do.
As we just practiced, this is our regular route here. But if there's too much fire or smoke, we have an alternate route here and can go out this way. Now, this is our plan anytime we can't use the regular way. Now, let's practice our alternate route so we'll know two ways to leave the building.
During a fire emergency, one of the problems you may have is that your exit may be blocked by a closed door. In that case, it's very important to know what to do. First of all, don't open the door until you've followed these instructions.
Now, in our classroom, we have windows in the doors and can see if there's fire or smoke in the hall. But if you're someplace that has a solid door and you can't see, what you should do is carefully put the back of your hand on the door. If it's hot, don't open the door because the fire could be on the other side. What you should do is turn around and use another escape route.
A very serious problem during a fire is smoke. Many people don't realize it, but actually it's breathing the smoke, not the flames themselves, that hurt most people. This is because smoke is filled with dangerous gases, which can be very harmful if you breathe them. Since smoke rises, you should stay low to the floor and keep moving. There's a simple rule to remember. Stay low and go. To learn about smoke situations, Mr. Howard's class pretended there was smoke in the hallway. They got down low and remembered the rule. Stay low and go. They practiced breathing through their shirts and blouses because this helps filter out some of the smoke and makes it easier to breathe. After the classes practiced, they were ready for a fire drill. In order to see if everyone knows what to do in case of fire, fire drills always come at unexpected times, because fires are always unexpected. By making the fire drill a surprise, you'll find out how well you've practiced leaving the building quickly and safely. Let's see how well everyone did when the alarm went off and they had their first real fire drill.
We all did just what we had learned in our practice drills. I got at the head of the line, and the rest of the class lined up behind me. We didn't take anything with us when we went. All of the other classes formed their lines and went out too. Everyone kept quiet and walked right along. At the top of the stairs, we got a big surprise. We had to pretend that this exit was blocked by fire, but we knew what to do. We turned around and followed our alternate route.
My class ran into a problem on the first floor. But we remembered the rule, stay low and go. And that's just what we did. If there'd really been smoke, we'd have gotten through all right, because we knew what to do.
Susie was in our class since we were on the first floor, and it was my job to wheel her out.
All of the classes moved quickly and orderly out of the building. Each class had its own special meeting place away from the building. When the drill was over, a special bell was rung to let us know we could go back inside. Miss Wilson said we did pretty well on our first real drill. We felt we'd even do better the next time.
There are times when the fire alarm may catch you in an unexpected situation. You might be in the cafeteria, the library, bathroom, or auditorium. That's why it's a good idea to look around for the doors and exit signs anytime you go into a new room. If you hear the fire alarm, leave everything behind and follow the same rules that you learned in class. The point is, don't always expect things to work out the way you've rehearsed them. For example, a fire may make it impossible to leave the building through either your regular or alternate exit route. Let's pretend that both your escape routes are blocked and you can't use either of them. Then what do? Let's see what Mrs. Anderson's class did when both their escape routes were blocked. If both your escape routes are blocked, go back into your room and close the door. If there's smoke, get down low and move close to the windows. If you don't see any smoke or fire out the window, hang a jacket or other piece of clothing out the window to attract attention, so the fire department will know that you need help. If possible, open windows to help clear any smoke from the room. Besides knowing exactly what to do in case of fire, so that everyone gets out safely, there's something else to know about. What if you're the one to discover a fire? What do? Well, here's how to report a fire.
Now, if you smell smoke or discover a fire here at school, tell the first adult you see. That person will then notify the office by using an intercom, such as this one. Someone in the office will then sound the fire alarm bell and call the fire department.
Some schools have smoke detectors, which are a big help in discovering fires. They signal a fire by sounding a loud noise. They also signal an alarm in the office. To help report fires quickly, many schools have fire alarm pull stations in the corridors. They are used to set off the fire alarm. As you have seen, this school practiced carefully so that they would be ready for any fire emergency. They knew the chances were slim that a real fire would actually happen. But when the alarm sounded, they knew what to do. Now, let's go back and see how everyone in this school got out safely when there really was a fire.
Miss Wilson asked me to take some papers to the principal's office. I hadn't gone very far when I smelled smoke. I knew I was supposed to report it to the nearest adult, so I quickly went to Miss Wilson and told her.
Office.
This is Miss Wilson in room 6. We can smell smoke in the hall. You'd better sound the alarm and call the fire department.
Right away.
Because we had all practiced so carefully, we knew what to do.
I took Jerry's place at the end of the line because he had gone to the library. I was kind of worried about him, but I was sure he knew what to do.
I had just left the library when I heard the fire alarm, but I remembered what to do if I wasn't in my own classroom. I joined the nearest class, Mr. Howard's, and went out with them. As soon as we reached our meeting area, Miss Wilson checked the attendance book to be sure everyone was there. Everyone was except Jerry. We couldn't see him anywhere. When we got to the place where they were supposed to meet, I asked Mr. Howard if I could join my own class. He gave me permission, and I reported to Miss Wilson. I was sure glad to see my classmates, and they were glad to see me, too. Before long, the fire captain signaled that the fire was out. Our principal, Mr. Scott, thanked the firemen for getting the fire out.
Everyone at this school got out all right because they knew what to do. Now, your school may practice fire drills differently, but the important thing to remember is how to get out of the building quickly and safely in case of fire. This school knew what to do. Does your school?
All right. Now my scanner's making a farting sound. Yeah. All right. That was great. I'm happy that I have a decent copy of that. The color needed to be tweaked a little bit, but I think that was on the scanner. man, I have other films that would fit with that really well, including that one film about there's a fire, the kids are on the recess and there's a fire and the firemen show up and they decide to turn it into a teaching lesson. Yeah. And then, of course, Our Obligation. All right. This is going to be kind of a shorter episode, but this is going to be great. This is part of that series of looking at world cultures in the late 70s. We looked at one in... Where did we go? We went to China. We went to Yugoslavia. And now we're going to go to Morocco. This is it Laroussie? The Saddlemaker, Morocco. Enjoy.
My name is Laroussie Mouching, and I am 12 years old. I live in Morocco, an Arab country, and work with my father as a metal craftsman. But my true love is horses and the great fantasia riding celebrations. Morocco is a small country of beautiful mountains and deserts located in the northwest corner of Africa. And my town, Fez, is in central Morocco, in the foothills of the Atlas Mountains. Fez was founded almost 1,200 years ago and is our oldest city. It was Morocco's first trading center and later became a religious center. Today there are more than 350 mosques here. The center of Fez is a fascinating maze of narrow, winding streets called the Medina. It is also the town's main bazaar, lined with hundreds of shops where skilled craftsmen produce beautiful handmade goods. My father, Mahid, owns a brass and copper shop in the Medina, as his father did before him. He is 39 years old and is a master metal craftsman. My uncle, Azdin, is one of Morocco's greatest horsemen and says he would like my father to repair and polish his best stirrups for the big fantasia in Marrakesh early next month. He says he is going to order a new saddle for the celebration and asks if I'd like to come along. Father says I have work to do, but I can meet Azzedine later. My father says at this rate, I'll never get anything done, and that I'd better see my uncle now and work twice as hard after lunch. Uncle Azzedine works as a tour guide in Fez and says he's excited about taking his team of 10 horsemen to the Fantasia in Marrakesh. The Fantasia is a traditional warrior exercise with teams of armed horsemen firing off old flintlock rifles in unison while charging at full gallop with a prize to the best team. Traditionally, it was to practice marksmanship, but today it's a celebration to our past. Uncle says Abdul and his father Sekat are the best saddle makers in Fez. Uncle Azzedine says he wants the gold background, but with a traditional purple embroidered trim like this. The Fantasia saddles are very expensive, from $300 to $1,000, and Abdul says Azzedine's will be $800. But people in our country always bargain, and Azzedine says he won't pay more than $500. Sekat says 650 is the best they can do. Azzedine agrees, but only if the saddle is ready in 10 days. Abdul says no problem. My uncle says if I'd like to stay and watch, he's sure Abdul and Sekat wouldn't mind. Of course, I'd love to. Sekat's very nice. He says a craftsman must first learn to recognize good leather. Abdul says he's picking up new leather at the tannery, and if I have time, I'm welcome to come along. I'm sure Father wouldn't mind. Abdul says he and Sekat use sheep leather. Here at the tannery, the hides are shaved and trimmed first. Then, after drying, they are soaked and dipped in different baths until soft, and just the color ordered by the craftsman. Then they are ready to be worked. Father puts special care into repairing Uncle Azzedine's stirrups and wants me to deliver them to the saddlemakers. But he says I should not be late, like I was yesterday.
ايه باش كيجي صعب لي باين فيه، وما الا ما كانش مسبوق.
هي الأولى.
Sekat says he learned saddle making when he was about my age, and that it's fascinating work because every saddle is different. He says if I really wanted to learn, they would teach me, if my father gave his permission. I love horses, and saddle making would be wonderful, but I don't think my father would agree.
صحيح الله يرحمه. الله يهنيكم. الله يهنيكم.
Today we only work half a day, and this afternoon our family is having a picnic. I've decided to talk to my father about my feelings. My father says he's noticed my mind hasn't been on my work lately. I never could keep secrets from my father. He knows I love horses, and now he knows I'm interested in saddle making, but that I would never do this without his permission. He says he's happy I feel this way. He says his father became a metal worker for the same reasons, and that a person should always follow the sound of their heart. He says I have his permission, and he will talk to Sekat. But that if I ever change my mind, he wants me to come back and work with him. Father says the most important thing now is to do well and honor the family. Grandfather says I've made a good decision, and Mother is very happy that Father and I agree. And I won't let them down.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. اخبار عمي الحاج؟ لاباس عليكم؟ كيما لاباس؟ تبارك سيدي. كيما لاباس؟ دابا انا جبت لك اللي الشير باش تعلموا الصنعه، راه هي موهبته هذه، وانا غادي نخلي لك دابا.
I'm very happy. Sekat says they would be very pleased to accept me as their apprentice. Abdul says we always measure by hand, and as craftsmen, we should never lose touch with the leather. This piece will form the back support for Uncle Azadin's saddle, and Abdul says we must work quickly to finish it on time.
تفضل تصبري في هذا الشيء شحال؟
خير. الله عليك. شوف اسيدي بغيت شي واحد من هذا. الله عليك. الله شنو مطور. انت صوتي معاه.
Uncle Azadin says he's heard the good news and wishes the best for me, and that God willing, I will become the best saddlemaker in all of Morocco.
اندرا هذاك السرج واجد ولا ايه الكلمه ماشي معقول، هادشي مش معقول. داكشي
Azadin is very upset. Sekat says the saddle won't be ready today. But Uncle says if he doesn't leave for Marrakesh in the morning as planned, his entire team could be disqualified from the Fantasia. Sekat suggests that Azadin go on ahead and that I bring the saddle later on the bus. Uncle says that's up to us. But his saddle better get there on time. Brother says I can not only go to Marrakesh, but he wants to come with me and see.
تندير هادي هكا شي نجيب هذا تيكون في الفم ديال العود يتشابه هكا الحمد لله.
Abdul says we have more saddles to make, and I should hurry back. How wonderful! My father says he is very proud of me and that I have brought honor to our family.
السلام. هذا هو الشكل اللي كنت تنتظر. بزاف. بارك الله فيك.
Wow, you know, this whole series is kind of interesting. I mean, there's you know, there's obviously some fake narrative in there, but it's interesting to kind of look at that culture, and it looks like they have a story. You know, they create like this story arc about a young person who is about to do something culturally related, some sort of art or craft or performance that's based on their culture. So, awesome. Yeah, so today I said it was going to be a short show because some of you heard earlier, I had a doctor's appointment that surprisingly turned into a unplanned procedure that took much longer than I thought. And I actually tried to do a live thing from my phone just to kind of explain what was happening. And yeah, my phone doesn't do that. Like, YouTube's like, no, you have to do this. You have to publish a bunch of stories and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, whatever. So anyways, I am okay. This procedure is annoying, and it is because of a bike accident I suffered when I was 12. That's all I'm going to tell you. Like, maybe one day we will go into more. But, yeah, I should be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sorry that we ran late. Like, I started the show late, but it was important for me. And I also, again, very much appreciate, there was a lot of messages to my email, to the YouTube channel, wanting to know if I was okay, and I really appreciate that. That means a great deal to me. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll be back watching some more films, because guess what? I have so many films. Anyways, everybody, you take care of yourself, and we will see you soon.